development. You know, we have development theories, but we don't know. If we knew the answer, we would all be developed. But I have found one thing, looking across the countries, and at the risk of being modest, I've worked in 60 countries professionally, trying to, as part of the World Bank and Commonwealth Secretariat and others. And I've discovered one thing, that there are countries which pretty much do what they say. Then there are countries where the gap between what they say and what they do is huge. And there is no prize for guessing which group of countries develops faster. The one where the gap between the rhetoric and action is less, they tend to develop faster. So the crisis in the contemporary world is really an implementation crisis. And there is no development divide, it is an implementation divide. Those who can implement and those who just talk about it. But fortunately, implementation is also not a rocket science. You don't have to go to Harvard or MIT to get a degree in implementation. I have found that it is only about follow-up. If you follow up something, it gets done. But then it's about effective follow-up. It's not about the quantity of follow-up, hundreds of metrics, hundreds of things you're doing. There is a whole industry of monitoring that has developed, monitoring and evaluation. But that doesn't mean the quality is improving. But more on that later. So that's crisis number one. The second crisis that we face as a profession is that we talk about performance. The whole day we have spoken about performance. If I take a survey, every single person has a different notion of what performance is. We have no agreement. So when in the private sector, they say, oh, I made $300 million as a profit, we all agree. The stock market agrees, the investors agree, everyone agrees. Why? Not because we can trust the private sector, because those accounts were prepared using what is called generally accepted accounting principles. Not just that. Those accounts were also audited by an external auditor using generally accepted accounting principles. Unfortunately, in the public sector, in the government and non-profit, we don't have a counterpart. Performance lies in the eyes of the beholder. That is the truth. And that's why we have thousands of different methodologies. This would not happen. I mean, so the crisis is that we need to really develop generally accepted performance principles. So at least we understand each other when we speak about performance. We agree when someone says this government department has done well, then we say, yes, it has done well. It can be externally audited using generally accepted performance principles. But today, it's completely different. I can say I've done well, someone will come and say, no, but from this point of view, you've not really done well. So I mean, there is no methodology, there's no agreement, and I think that's one of our grand challenges in the public administration that awaits us, and hopefully we as collectively, unless we solve that, unless you can define what your goal is. I mean, we've got a situation where we give so much medicine to the patient, which is the government department or agency, without knowing whether the patient is improving or becoming worse. When we look at the patient and say, oh, you've got yellow eyes, I think you need this medicine. You need to collaborate more, you need more data. You know, we're giving, all these are inputs, but we don't know ultimately whether the agency is doing better. But my definition for performance is simple. So we'll have a working definition, which is a good performance is where the gap between promise and delivery is narrow. That's all. What you promise and what you deliver, that's good performance. If you can deliver what you promise, that's good performance. And you can promise different things. If you're agriculture, your education, your different departments make different promises, but if you deliver that, how you deliver is a different story. So, we'll use that as a working definition. We will see, we all have different experiences on collaboration, that what lessons we can draw, and we'll try to then, at the end, synthesize and come up with some sort of common elements, and I think that should be the purpose here, to see can we find some common lessons of experience that make collaboration more effective in terms of reducing the gap between performance and delivery, which is performance improvement. So that really is the purpose. Now, as you know, the panel here, and I will just go from left to right, and that would be the order in which we will also speak, and then we will have a little discussion, have questions, and then go and have drinks on the fourth floor. That's the plan.